So it's necessary, it's absolutely necessary to have access to good money, reliable money, dependable money. But you know, before you have that done, you kind of have to have your team assembled. Because one of the things my banker does, he's really my best friend in business and partner in business, because one of the things he does is he makes sure I dot my I's and cross my T's and I have the right members on my team. He's making sure the insurance is there. He's making sure that the contractor's going to get, hey, the contractor. You know, one of the big fears in real estate investing is, will my contractor rip me off? How do I even know he's going to do a good job? How do I check his references? What things do I need to do? Well, guess what? I brought to you my own construction management, what's the right word to use, Vic? He's the project manager. He's responsible for all the construction. Wizard is really the right word.
Yeah, behind the curtain.
But
behind the curtain, exactly.
Exactly. But, you know, let me preface this with, one of the things that I love about Vic is he's not just strong on the rehab side or the project management side. He's also a real estate investor. That's how he makes his money too. But his business, right? So he's got his money that he makes, how his money works for him is inside of real estate. But his business is in construction management, and his company is called Quantum Builders. So, you know, the thing I dig about Vic, though, I met him a couple of years ago, and I'm going to let him tell you that story real quick, and then we'll move on. One of the things I dig about Vic is he would cash flow a doghouse or a fishbowl or anything, which is incredible. You know, hey, here's a refrigerator. I bet you I can get some cash flow out of this thing.
Not only was he charging the fish rent, but he was just charging the person feeding the fish, too.
Yeah, he was, everybody's paying Vic. And that's one of the things I love about him, because, see, he can see the money opportunities where many people cannot. And you need that when you're talking about rehab. A lot of people think, hey, I need to fix this thing up like I'm going to live in it. And what you really need to be thinking about, and the kind of professional you want to be working with, is a person who's going to say, hey, if we spend $1 here, how we get 4 out of it? That's important.
Exactly. And that's what I specialize in, is figuring out how do we get the most out of your property, finish it on time and on budget, and then take you to the next level, getting the success for the investor, not just swinging a hammer, but also, listen, this is what's going to make the best, this is what's going to do the best for you on the appraisal. This is what the bank wants to see. This is how you talk to an appraiser. This is where you get the most bang for your buck. Hold on to the marble countertops. Maybe we'll change something here, and it's having someone who can take you from take you from a goldfish bowl or doghouse all the way to a 24 unit or 72 unit apartment building.
That's right.
And can tell you exactly how to get there, and can show you, hey, I'm working on some right now. I can show you right now, hey, here's how you get to this level, and here's where you are right now. And these are what you need to be paying attention to, and grooming somebody to go up to that level.
I'll tell you what, I've even walked into some places, into one of Vic's places in specific, and I was like, Joe, there's no prayer we can show this thing to anybody. They're just going to think that we're crazy.
I think that's when you face planted the dirt. And then
yeah, what?
Yeah, we were thinking about the liability of having somebody in there. Oh, my goodness,
sure.
this place is falling apart.
Yeah, and now it's a beautiful castle that's cranking out money left and right. It's just like, you know, $100 bills are spewing out the windows at the same time, but it was because the proper effective rehab was done. But, you know, let's get down to brass tacks, because one of the things that people are scared of is, hey, Vic, I'm going to write a check to a contractor, and how do I know I'm ever going to see him again? How do I know I've got the right team member? How do I know he won't go lame in the middle of the job?
Right, you have to have people who you have, first of all, have great referrals, and second of all, can tell you exactly, like, clarity trumps persuasion every time. And can be exactly,
write that one down, Joe.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Clarity trumps persuasion.
Well, everybody owes me a nickel every time.
See, he can cash flow anything.
but you know, clarity trumps persuasion every time. And what you want to do is you want to have someone who can with absolute clarity tell you exactly why they're rehabbing your property this way, and what effects that you have, even in the municipalities in the area, in the rehab, and keeping up with what your goals are, whether the strategy is a flip strategy or rental or short sale. Hey, here's what the neighborhood calls for. This is what you should do. Anything else is overdoing it. And you can do that with not only one property, but I can do 10 properties for you at the same time. Or you know, it's just at your leisure. As a person who's a do-it-yourself, if you're swinging that hammer yourself, you can only do that one job. But if you have a project manager on hand, you have somebody who's familiar with the construction, familiar with the goals of all projects, and knows the neighborhood, then I can do 10 projects for you at one time, and it's just a matter of what your goals are and how much money Uncle Mike right here will give you.
And you know what? The money comes from the vision that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Having the vision to see the forest and the trees.
Right.
That's what you're talking about.
Yeah, and that's why I have the site on YouTube, the channel Philly Investor, because people have looked at that channel and said, hey, you know something? I have a property that's like that. I was wondering how I can configure it to be a triplex, and I looked at your property and I said, wow, that's how I want to do my property. Can you do that for me? Of course.
Absolutely. Well, that's the thing. When you're swinging a hammer, you can't see that.
No, you can't see.
That's the beautiful thing. When you pull back, then you get a chance to see it.
It's amazing when you look at what Vic does, because a lot of times people are going, well, isn't it what a general contractor does when they get in there, they're handling all that and whatnot. And what I found was that anytime people are dealing with money, and obviously an investor is the one doling out the dollars, and the contractor is the one taking in the dollars, that filter where Vic really makes his specialty, it's a matter of removing the emotion, because anytime you're dealing with emotion, money, you're dealing with emotion. People are worried about putting it into the wrong hands, and people are going, am I going to get the money from the person? So having a Vic in the middle of that and saying, you're removing the emotion, so the intellect, the logic, and the process stays intact. And ultimately, you do, as Mike, you mentioned, you reach that end vision then that initially was created by you and the investor.
Absolutely. So no one is swayed by the different emotions that come into the process as it goes on.
So you don't care who fixes it up and who buys it?
I don't care who fixes it up. I can manage 3 mice if I need to.
As long as they're not 3 blind mice. Well,
3 blind mice. I mean, I just have to it's just audio.
But you know what? He's going to cash flow a hamster wheel if 3 blind mice show up. That's important enough. In the book, Live the Real Estate Lifestyle, Chapter 10 is called Fixing Up Properties. Quick and effective rehabbing for maximum profits. Now, when it's a rental unit, there's things we do to address wear and tear issues, right?
Oh, definitely.
And when it's a flip project or a lease option or many of the other exit strategies that we teach, now we're rehabbing for what we call sparkle and shine, right?
Exactly.
We're selling to a specific person. And this goes back to, I need Joe for this too, because when you're going to sell a property, and one of the big fears that people have is, hey, well, what if I fix it up and nobody buys it? Or what if I fix it up and nobody rents it? Well, if you do an effective rehab, the realtor's job becomes very easy, or the property manager's job becomes very easy when you're doing an effective rehab. So Vic, very quickly describe what's the difference between a rental level or sales level, retail level job and a rental level job. Understanding that there's multiple exit strategies and different ways that we mix those around. And then Joe, you hop in and talk about how do you produce that end vision for your investor, so that the client who's going to use the product, by the way, that's the difference between speculators and investors, is that we intend for someone to use our product, not just to make more money. We're trying to serve a clientele. How do you serve that clientele? Shoot, guys.
Okay, well, first of all, Joe and I have this discussion all the time, and we always call it form versus function.
You got
exactly. So a lot of times when you're doing a rental property, you want to make sure that it's functional. You're looking for, Jim says it all the time, safe, comfortable housing for those who can afford it. So you're making it very pretty. You're making it very nice, but at the same time you're making it functional, and you're putting stuff in there that's going to take the wear and tear. Like a commercial carpet instead of maybe the Berber carpet, things of that nature. Vinyl tile versus ceramic tile, and those types of different things where you can get a very nice brand of it and make it look very pretty, but also it's very durable. And then when you talk about a retail project, then you're upgrading. You're gonna have some different cabinets in there. Maybe you have the marble countertops, maybe you have ceramic tile floors, and you want to have that big nice shine, so the person gets emotionally attached. You want to have that flat screen TV above the fireplace. The man come in and say, "Oh, I know exactly where I can put my grill. I know where my boys and I are going to watch the Eagles game this year." And you make it so when the person comes in, everyone loves the property. You're using neutral colors throughout, and it's those types of experience where I've seen it over and over again through investor and through strategy to strategy, where these things work. These techniques, they work. They work over and over again. You can see them. I mean, we've got more video out there than any other contractor out there because we're very, very good at what we do, and we want to put that out there to you guys.
That's right. YouTube.com/Philly Investor. Now let's